Hey pottery people, it's Shelly, that's me from Nodakian Studios. Today I am here at the DMA Studios, Dakota Media Access, yes that's right. And we are gonna throw some pottery, talk with a local creative, and get to know each other. Today though, my drink is brought to you by Steamer's Blues 102.5. So, drinks on him. So let's get this pottery spinning. And let me introduce my guest to you. Today we've got the fabulous blonde bombshell, Mr. Eade, who is a 3D artist, right here today doing 3D pottery. Might be a little different than what he's used to, but let's see if he can pull it off. Pete, welcome.
Welcome.
How are you today?
Good. Glad to be here, and this is definitely literally outside my wheelhouse, but we'll see what happens.
Have you done the pottery wheel before?
Not since high school.
Ooh, you got to do it in high school. Mm-hmm. By who?
Miss Diane Bogie.
Okay.
Many.
Yeah, I think I might have had Mrs. Bogie as well.
Yep.
So let's see what you got.
Yep.
Let's see what you got.
Alrighty. Well, it's spinning, so I say
that's a good sign. Now, I'm a righty, so I throw counterclockwise. You're a lefty, so you're going to be doing the complete opposite of what I'm doing here. How do you feel about that?
It's pretty par for course for me, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Do the opposite of what you're told.
Yeah. Well.
You're obviously getting somewhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's wet. That's always.
That's where we want to go, folks. Remember, if it's sticky, it's icky. WAP is where it's at. You heard it here. You heard it first. So, tell me what you do. What is your 3D art?
I do a lot of 3D engraving in metals, in woods, stuff like that. Most of my art is mostly kind of centered around more bike club themed and military type stuff. Being a Air Force veteran and a lot with the
Step one, down.
With a thought. It's a lot of that stuff that I do is like tribute art and stuff like that. So, it's kind of near and dear.
So, remembering people, remembering times, remembering thoughts. I think that's what every form of art is. You're taking an experience, you're solidifying it in something.
Yep. I think one of the biggest things for me was someone came to me and they had a license plate off a motorcycle. It was a Colorado license plate. And they're like, we need you to make something out of this. And at first I'm like, well, it's just a license plate. What's the deal? And it turned out that a friend of mine was the brother of the person that used to own that motorcycle.
Oh, really?
And he unfortunately died in a motorcycle accident out in Colorado. And the person that bought the motorcycle, for whatever reason, had the foresight to kind of talk to some of the friends that he was in a club with. And they actually had me do a tribute three-dimensional wood engraving that held a license plate, and then we presented it back to his brother.
Okay, I bet that was were you there at presentation?
Yes.
Was it emotional?
You don't see bikers cry too often, but that was, and I know to this date he's still got it in the living room next to a photo of his brother. So, those are the kind of things I think that, just have a really good...
I saw it at the corner of my eye. It looked like your wheel just pooped on the floor.
Well,
Okay, remember, let's zip back to the front. You're like, I got it wet. That's what we're going for.
Okay, yep.
So when it's sticky, we like to say it's icky. Nobody likes anything sticky. And WAP is where it's at. So we really want to keep it nice and wet so it stays slippery.
Yeah, because we're having a little extra traction here.
So you said you did pottery the last time in junior high? High school.
High school.
How long ago was that?
I don't think we need to be disclosing those kind of secrets. with identity theft and everything these days.
Good point. Good point. I mock because this is my daily, so
Yeah, yes.
I can mock a little bit. It's all in good fun. I'm not here to make you. I'm here to promote what you're doing. So you do these memorials with wood engraving. What else? You work with metal.
Yeah. Lately I've been doing some, it's a lot of the bike clubs and everything like that. I'm doing, this is just horrible here.
Keep going. You're doing great.
But different trophy work and everything like that, to some it would seem like, well, it's...
See, it's okay.
Yeah. It's, it's just a trophy kind of thing, but I guess I've never really looked at taking that approach to the different projects I work on. I like to really look into, kind of what that club is about and stuff like that, and kind of incorporate that into the art where, I don't know that from, certainly not from like an online service or whatever like that, trophies, $50, blah, blah, kind of thing.
With a little guy on the top on a little bike.
Yeah,
That's not what you do.
No.
You're not bowling trophy stuff.
No. If in fact, if it looks like that, then it goes right in the trash heap. So.
Oh, we're not saying there's anything wrong with bowling trophies. I still have mine from junior high, and I love it. Sometimes he gets a little paper crown. This is just something different. This is good. This is different.
Yeah.
We all have our place, just trophies, that's not what you do.
No,
Gotcha.
and I think certainly I think a lot of the tools I use are probably a lot more tech-based than what I would say a lot of people use, but because I've got different 3D laser engravers, my CNC routing equipment for working with wood and stuff like that. And
okay, so I was thinking, looking at these pictures, that you're just down there just scribing away with your little hand tools. So you're beyond hand tools.
yeah, and some people like that, other people not so much. But I think it's kind of, unfortunately, it's the world we live in now. It's like everything is based on. I saw this on that online service that starts with the letter A. Can you make this but cheaper? And it's like, no, you can't. And they're like, well, but I thought it would be nice like that, but if it was customized and, well,
Oh, story of my life.
my first question is, well, why don't you just get it from them like that? Well, they don't make them customized. And I'm like, that's why it's that price. I think basically I'm going to have an ashtray here when we're done.
So one thing I like to tell my students at this point, ashtrays are so hot right now. They are trending hard.
Well,
I've always loved the thought of smoking, the smell of smoke. I cleaned out ashtrays as a child working in my parents' shop. So that smell, all of that brings back all these good memories. So let's make ashtrays. Smoke them if you got them. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a dying habit. Now we vaping. You don't get, there's nothing cool about vaping. There's no ashtray.
Yeah, I mean, you watch
No offense to you vapors.
you watch like an action movie and something like that. A guy walks up with a cigar. I just don't think it would be the same thing with a vape.
Threw it down and nothing explodes.
Yeah. But
No,
yeah.
it smells amazing too.
But yeah, I mean, everything I do is, like I said, pretty tech based. I mean, you've known me over the years, and certainly I've done painting and drawing and stuff like that. But it's for the kind of work I do. It's it's just without some of the tech tools and everything like that, you just can't. I mean, it's a part-time job. You can't spend 3 weeks working on something and literally charge for what it's worth, because nobody's going to pay that nowadays.
Oh, nope, story of my life. I get it.
Yep.
So you've painted, you've drawn, have you carved?
Yeah.
you've carved. What made you, I don't want to say level up, but go to this next plane of using robots? Am I safe to say you were a puppet of robots?
Sure, you
Okay.
know, we'll go with that. I think because a lot of, you know, in my day job, I'm very much a technical kind of person. You know, I do 3D CAD work and a lot of different stuff like that, and electronics and everything like that. And I think that, you know, I'm, you know, cross dominant, you know, and whether you take it for what it's worth, you know, left brain, right kind of thing. It's always been me. It's been kind of both sides working, or you know, and one of my friend calls me amphibious, you know, with so. But I think the two just kind of merged together. I saw, you know, like at work, I saw like these kind of tools, and I'm like, you know, you could do a lot more with that. And then with the art thing that I was doing, it's like, you know, if I use that, you know, you could probably work that in there too. And so I'm kind of that's where I'm at now.
Utilizing everything that you have to its fullest potential.
Right, you know, because I've got, you know, doing 3D scanning, again, something that I used to do for one of the places I worked at. And now, like a very nice gentleman that is next to where I work, just one of the nicest guys you'd want and to know, older gentleman, and he loves fishing and everything else, and so I actually got a photograph of him and did a little bit of work and converted that over to 3D. And so he doesn't know it yet and won't before this happens. But, you know, I'm doing a tribute coin to him that's got, you know, in Mike We Trust on one side
Oh,
with
a
his
little
3D
coin,
image.
okay.
And then since he likes you know, he's retired and does a lot of fishing and hunting and stuff like that. So I've got his name, Outfitters, on the backside with a thing like that. And, you know, and that's one of those that's just fun to do. You know, it's not like you
No
know,
pressure.
no,
There's
no, and there's no money making thing going on there or anything like that. It's just, you know, people, you know, I've certainly had opportunities where I could do kind of like a production line of things for someone, but I'm very much once I've made the one that I want, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. I'm not you know, again, if you want 100 of something, I'm not the guy.
You're not, okay.
You know.
You heard it here. He's not the guy for that. But if you want a one-off,
Yeah,
that's
very much. You know,
gonna hit home.
Just like that tribute piece I was talking about for my friend that's brother passed. You know, that's the kind of thing that this is horrible. But you know, that's the kind of thing that, you know, I get some value out of. You know, it's, you know.
Okay.
Same thing with military. Like I said, I was in the Air Force, and I had the pleasure of working with Coast Guard, Navy, Army, Marines, everybody. You know, and not everybody that is one of the branches gets the chance to do that, but because of the job I had, we basically pooled resources. So it, you know, when I see things like Black Lions over in Mandan, I met Garrett there. And just out of curiosity, you know, and he had a very cool thing going on, ex-Army, and so there's like the gold leaf sign that's in there. You know, I had made that, and you know, and that was, I had done gold leafing before, but if you ever want to try your patience.
It's fun.
It is. It looks great when it's done. It looks like an absolute mess while you're doing it.
But the hyper focus.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Love it.
If you can't zero in on something, that's probably not the.
And you can get it in every color.
Yes.
And you can do it to anything.
Yes.
So let's touch back on that military a bit. So you've got this gorgeous ashtray here.
It is a work of art.
It's
unique.
fantastic. It's a one-off. You're not going to create 100 of those. Military. Did you ever use a garrote?
Not with my keyboard cord. No.
Okay, so This is your wire. This is not a garrote. We're going to grab it by the wire. These are stops. Yep, grab your... You can scrape your hands on your bucket.
That's a good thing.
Perfect.
Feeling a lot of pressure here.
No pressure. So every pot that you destroy, that you throw in this bucket that you don't want to keep, is a reap soul. And it gets mixed back into something better, bigger every time.
A reaped soul.
So as many reap souls as that have gone into this,
Okay.
there's just not enough. So we're going to reap it again. It's a tight wire.
Right.
Tight all the way to the end.
Okay.
Oh, you've got a long wire. So you could probably do this. It's going to catch on this stop. There you go.
Okay.
Now you can pull it tight.
Okay.
We want to get it right under here with the wheel spinning slightly. So get your wheel going just a tiny bit. Tight wire, like a bass string, tight to the wheel. Yeah. Now we're going to do this. Or you can set it up front if you want to compare it to your last.
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. Now we're going to take your next piece. You've got this gorgeous clay pad here. Don't get your hands wet.
Well, we did last time.
Pat it on your towel. Pat, pat, pat.
How's
Grab
that?
it. That's perfect. Perfect. Right down on here. Just like that. Ugh.
I feel you're better at centering those. That's right where my real downfall.
Mine is, does that look centered? It's not. That's the one.
It's not that.
So it's not centered. We're going to turn the wheel head so it's closest to us. There you go. Turn yours the other way. We're just going to push it in. Push.
Okay.
There you go. Seal that base down with your thumb. With it running. I like to use power tools. This is a power tool. I'm going to let it do the work for me. I'm just going to sit here and give it the thumb. Other thumb.
Other thumb.
There you go. We always want the clay to run through our fingers. Perfect. You're already on the right step. Then let her rip. Add some water. Lean into it. You got this. So when you start a project, walk me through the very beginning of it to the very end. Because to me, it looks like you just go boop, beep, beep, send, and you're done.
Yeah,
and I know that's not it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what people think. It's like a print function. I feed in a sketch on one end and hit print, and in the 3D thing comes out the other. Still,
for me, going beep, boop, beep, print, I still struggle with that. So for me, that's a huge task. But walk us through it.
Just like anything, especially with the type of stuff I do, I like to talk with the person a little bit, and and I know quite a few people especially like in the biker community and stuff like that, different clubs and everything. So I kind of get a fair idea of what they're about and stuff like that, and the biggest hardest thing I would say with that kind of stuff is a lot of people, they don't know what they want, but they know it if they see it. So you really got to kind of lead the path a little bit there, and it. So I think subject to interpretation is kind of a key.
What do you want to eat? I don't care. What do you want to eat? I get it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guide them to what they want.
Right. And fortunately, I've done enough work for some of these, or one group in particular, that now it's, we want you to do this. And I said, do you want to see what you're going to get? And they're like, no, we are fine. Everything else you've given us is what we wanted, so just run with it. So.
Ooh, I hate those terms. Dealer's choice. Do not like dealer's choice.
Yeah.
Have you ever created something where they were like, this isn't what I wanted?
I think I've always had enough communication with whoever I've been working with that, it's been pretty on point. Don't give it an opportunity to get to that point.
Ah, yes. Wise words. I'm too loosey-goosey. I like a loose leash, nothing being tethered, and I fail with it. So now that you've got your idea in your head, your client's like, yes, let's do this. What's your next step? Do you draw it out? Do you sculpt it out?
I do a lot of hand sketches, and sometimes whether it's going to be wood or metal or whatever it is, I think it really kind of depends on what the project is.
Okay.
And and kind of what I'm thinking would look good on what route I'm going to take on that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I do a lot of sketches because again, it like I said, it's not really just a print function, and I gotta have something to be able to go into the 5 million different softwares which it appears to take. Fortunately, there's enough commonality between a lot of them that it's not like a complete new learning curve every time I need something different.
Okay.
But the list pretty much seems endless. And the equipment's not cheap, the software's not cheap, the material isn't cheap.
Is anything cheap these days, though?
No.
No.
And especially like I just got last month I did some engraving for a custom shop over in Mandan. And and honestly, one of the biggest costs of the project was just the material. Brass is just they're certainly not giving it away. So, that kind of reflects back on the the people looking at the the Amazon price, and they'll show me something, and it's like, you can't even buy real wood for the cost of that. I'm like, well, it's wood. And I'm like, no, it's got a wood print on it. It's not the same thing. And I refuse to, it's for me, especially on a one-off type of thing, it's going to be the best of everything I can get to do it. It's not going to be
Right.
some, balsa wood.
So material on top of your time, on top of all of the time it took you to learn the skill and the practice on top of it.
Right.
And it adds up.
It does. And, and that's just, mistakes are expensive.
Oh, I've made some doozies.
Yeah, and and some of the material, I mean, I don't know how it is for, the type of materials and stuff you use, but a lot of the stuff I use, you can't get it locally.
Yeah, same.
So you can't afford to buy too much, but at the same time,
You got to buy in bulk.
yep, because one mistake, and a lot of times the material is not reusable. So, it's again, it's part of the print function doesn't take into account for that. There's a lot of planning involved. I'm not building a machine, but the process is a lot like it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's schedule and all that kind of good stuff. Just shipping. And of which has certainly not gotten any better recently.
No, it hasn't. So you've got the idea, you've decided what materials you're going to use. Then what do? Do you just put it in your printer and it does its thing? Seriously, I don't know. I'm sure most of you guys don't know. So educate us.
Depending on what it is.
We'll say a block of wood, simple block of wood.
Okay. You gotta kind of, you're taking that 2D idea and then deciding what, dimensionally how you want it to look. So you've got to decide what, like you said, wood, what kind of tooling and everything you're going to need to be able to machine that out. And then once you've got that, I've got to get the artwork into the software and then do the programming, which, programming to cut a square out is a lot easier than cutting out something that's got some dimension to it. So
I have a little knowledge of programming. I took a Commodore 360 class when I was in, I don't know, 4th grade. Holy smokes, we'd sit there for 3 hours going beep, boop, beep, number, letter, dots.
Right.
And now, is this what this is my only knowledge, is this what you'd basically do? Or is it a little bit more advanced?
I think it's a little more advanced than that because all your materials, even different types of wood, you've got to know how fast the machine can run, what the characteristics of that wood are, like cherry. Cherry burns very easily if you run a tool across it too slow. And and if you've got a lot of detail in there, you could sand out some of that charring look to it.
Only some of it.
Right, but you're removing, obviously stuff that was meant to be there. So wood type, all that. I'll load the sketch in, get the programming laid out. Fortunately, there's some pretty good preview functions of what the machine is going to do. And if there's one thing I've learned, if it looks like there's a problem in your preview, believe it, because it's not making it up,
Okay.
and
You just can't go in and be like, oh, I can fix that.
yeah, not so much, and one of the most someone had me engrave a very large 3D the Lord's Supper, and I mean literally this thing took 7 hours on a machine to engrave everything, and I never had it happen again. I wanted to put one decorative little line around the thing, and it's like 4 feet long by whatever.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, the tooling decided to take off on its own for the decorative groove outside it. And so apparently then there were 11 disciples.
One got decapitated.
Yeah, I think it was Judas. I mean, I'm not saying there's, but
So then what? Did you go back and rubber cement it back in?
well, no, that was sawdust.
Model some sawdust?
No, you start over.
Oh man, how many hours did you lose because of that?
Good 7.
Wow. And material, time.
Yes. So there definitely is a patience factor there, and like I said, it's anything but hitting print,
Okay. So your piece comes off, you get your 4-foot long Last Supper done. It's perfect. Everyone has their heads.
Yes.
What's done after? Are you done, or do you have to go back and hand polish?
Yeah,
Are there
there's a lot
finishing-
of hand finishing and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's the machine can only do so much, and so all the detail sanding, knowing what type of finish it's going to be. Again, knowing the material, because like in this case, cherry looks very pinkish, I'll call it. For imagine
It's
like
got a nice blush to it.
oh, it's got a nice color, but knowing that as it ages, it will also darken quite a bit. So you don't want to put any kind of a clear finish on there that's altering the color, thinking, well, it should be darker. I don't want it looking pink. It won't stay that way. So it's really, I think that's the biggest learning curve is knowing materials, because I want to get into doing more, making some custom motorcycle parts and stuff like that I can go back in and do my own engraved artwork on and stuff
Okay.
like that. But it's the same thing, aluminum, brass. There's, I can think off the top of my head 4 different types of brass. They all act a little bit different. One's stickier than the other. One looks nicer than the others when it's done. All that kind of thing. So
Just what metals are combined with it too.
yes, because
Okay.
brass, it's not an element; it's an alloy. There's multiple metals in there, and depending on what the mixture is, it changes a lot of that. Aluminum's the same way. So, but the biggest thing is it seems, especially for the kind of stuff I do, it's the equipment is very much it's like there's always that better tool in the next room kind of thing. And, you know, and I'm there now. So, you know, I'm waiting on a different type of laser that focuses more on glass and stuff like that.
Okay.
But, you know, and, you know, before our interview here, you were asking me, you know, what are some things that I would tell people that are kind of trying to do like some of the stuff I do. And the thing I would say is do a lot of research on the equipment, because there's so many videos out there of people running something and they show this beautiful finished product when it's done and everything like that. And, you know, I've got enough experience now that it's like, I highly doubt that was actually done on that machine.
Oh, I get it. I bought a mop that looked like it was completely does the job on its own, and I brought it home and it just sits in the corner.
Right.
So I get it. It does not work like it should.
You know, and you know, someone, you know, just last week, someone texted me, and they were asking, well, we bought this, and we can't seem to get it to work. And I said, well, what are you using for this and this? And, you know, and it was obvious that, you know, with all the good intentions, there was probably going to be they weren't done spending money if that was where they really, you know, what they wanted to do kind of thing. So
after you're done designing, drawing, plugging stuff in, pressing print, getting everything hand polished, back to the person, what do you do on your off time? Do you drive motorcycles? There's possibly some, like maybe I've seen you on stage.
yeah.
Like you've got other talents. What are they, and what do you do to unwind?
Well, you know, I used to play in a band, but you know, you know, that was for probably like 10 years. And
Do you still play?
I've got a lot of table ornaments that look like old equipment. You know,
Okay.
not really. Most of the stuff I do these days is just if I'm not working on someone else's art, I'm kind of learning some new stuff myself. You know, I do a lot of electronics and everything too. So, kind of in the background, I'm kind of working on an idea I've got for some search and rescue equipment and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
you know, I think my biggest problem is I got a lot of interest in way too many things. But
I hear you there.
you know, but
Now, you do a lot with motorcycles. Do you drive around on a motorcycle?
I've not anymore. You know, my back was just. You know, I actually have one waiting to be put together in my shed, and it was just with issues I've had with my back and everything over the years.
Okay.
I just don't know that. I don't know that it would be safe to me or anybody else. It is like, you know, flying down the highway on a bike is probably not a time to have a major back issue occur.
This is true.
So,
But if you can make them look fabulous when they're going down the road,
well,
I think that's almost more of a kick.
for me it is. You know, and that's where I think that's really why I even keep the one in my shed around is
Okay.
it's a good piece that I can start using to design stuff around.
Oh, there she goes.
And you know, it's basically a demo. So
Very valuable, very valuable. Okay, so in your leisure time, you work.
yes,
Yeah, and you enjoy that.
yeah. I mean, it's you know, it's mainly because of stuff I do in my spare time. You know, the skills I think are a lot like what I do at work, but the subject matter is so much different. You know, it's not it's not a production line kind of a thing we're trying to do. And I think again that's why I like just doing the one-offs. And it's like if I want to make a bunch of the same thing again, I can do that during the day. So
Cool. Now, I know every time I wrap up an interview, I like to ask these questions. I know this because I do it every time. I'm just reminding myself because two-part question, or
Okay.
two questions completely separate. No rush, take your time. If you had infinite money, no boundaries, we're going to say the laws are a little loose. What? This is late night. You can go there. What would you do for this community? Whether it's for your craft, whether you think we need the biggest water slide park in the world, infinite money, no boundaries, loose laws. Go.
I'd like to see, honestly, some more resources for younger people to be learning more of the skills for, the kind of stuff I do. Whether, and I mean
Okay.
broad, not just art, but whether it be electronics or artwork, any of that kind of stuff, because, I just hate seeing so much of the talent that is around here head off to bigger and better things. Once I'm done with school, I'm heading to the cities. It's like,
You want bigger, better here.
yes, and
Okay.
and having lived in a lot of different places in the military, there's definitely, I think, especially living overseas, I think a lot of people from here, they've never even been outside the state, and and everything looks literally greener on the other side of the fence until you get there. And then I had a choice. I could have, when I got out of the service, I could have moved really wherever I wanted to, but there were a lot of things I saw overseas that I really had a lot more appreciation for when I came back home that I didn't necessarily when I was here growing up.
Okay. Yeah, it happens. It happens to all of us. Like your 4-foot Last Supper.
Yeah.
My hands just came over and did. So, you came back. Why did you come back to Bismarck, Mandan? Because I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be frankly honest. Until about 10 years ago, I did not want to be here. I wanted nothing to do with this place. I would leave just to. But I have roots here, so I keep coming back. But now I'm finally getting my footing in this community where I was raised. I grew up here every single day of my life. I've been here. What brought you back? I know what brought me back, but
I think a lot of the last place I was stationed at was just outside of Washington D.C. Mm-hmm. And and that is from a guy coming from Mandan, North Dakota. If that isn't a eye-opening experience on many levels, I don't know what is. Just at the time I was there, between Washington and D.C. and Baltimore, it was like they took pride on the evening news in Baltimore that they were the murder capital of the world. And it was like, well, that's, something to shoot for, I guess. But,
we take pride in beer drinkers of the world. So, I mean,
well,
we all have to have something.
right, yeah. But that and being in the overseas, at that time, the barracks we were in, they weren't even deemed with enough square footage for, in the Air Force, it was 2-person to a dorm, an apartment. It was just about big enough to have 2 beds and a nightstand.
Is that the culture, though?
If they had no other choice, that was the only reason we were in those buildings, because they weren't technically legal for us to be in.
Gotcha.
So I just when I came back, it was, I want to go back to some place where I could step outside and there's nothing. I mean nothing in a very positive. In that,
Vast.
5 minutes from now I can be at a river, or in the hills or whatever you want, in where I was at outside in DC, 10-mile drive. Yeah, you better plan on 45 minutes, and it better not be after 3 o'clock. because, you know, I mean, a good example of that is look at the chaos we had with traffic backed up a couple weeks ago. That is, I mean,
No clue. I never leave the studio. Seriously, this is my outing for today.
you know, and people were right. You know, they were irritated because it took them an hour and something to get home. And, you know, that's just a way of life out in a lot of those places.
Okay.
You know, you passed through California once, and you know, we came down into the LA basin, and I'd never seen 6-8 lanes of traffic going one way before in my life, and I'm like, holy. You know, we have trouble going down Main Street in Mandan with one lane. Yeah, so a lot of stuff like that, and certainly, you know, no matter how rude on any given day you think someone might be around here, it is that is a drop in the bucket from certainly some of the places I've been at.
Okay. So for your community, no budget, you would have maybe a tech center or something where people could get skilled on a different level, just a little bit more.
I think so, you know, because like you know, beginning at the high school level, because I know there are companies that I've worked for. They would love to be able to hire more people. They just can't get the skills required to do it. So.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes total sense. Now, here's the second part of that question, or question number 2. If you had infinite funds, easy on the laws, of course, keep it publicly safe, no boundaries, complete selfishness, what would you do? If you want to buy a cruise ship with nothing but video games on it, that's a totally legit answer. But all the money in the world, no limits, no boundaries. You were just underneath the law, just a fraction. What would you do?
Boy, I don't know. I think I'm pretty easy when it comes to that. I would just have a massive shop with every piece of equipment I could possibly imagine on there, so that, you know, it's just short of being able to think it, you could make it, kind of thing. And so.
Would you live in that shop?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
I've had the chance to live in my own studio. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you know, and you know, not all our ideas occur during business hours. In fact,
most of them don't.
Most don't.
No.
So just being able to walk out and, you know, just start doing what you're thinking is, I think, you know, that to me that's about as good as it gets.
Okay. How far are you from that dream?
Got the property, just got to figure out how to pay for it. Maybe if I would quit buying equipment, that would be a little easier.
Man, 5 kilns in, and I'm still trying to figure that out. Oh, man. Well, I've really had fun catching up with you today and hearing about how your robotic 3D art is made. I think it's fascinating because for mine, I'm the machine, and it's been good. It's been real.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, where can we find you? If someone wanted to reach out to you.
I'm on Facebook. The easiest is just look up my name. I've also got a business called Prenwaith Designs. Working on the webpage on that, but Pete Eade on Facebook's usually the easiest. You know, and the hardest thing I ever have with, you know, sometimes I maybe overthink things a little bit, but a lot of my
a creative overthink. Never.
I know. You know, a lot of my ancestors were from the Cornish area of England, and in Cornish, Prenwaith means woodworker. So.
Okay.
You know, but you know, again, perfect. You don't run a lot of that around here. So.
Nice. If you need anything about what we talked about today, this is the guy for you. This blonde bombshell over here, Mr. Pete Eade. Thank you for being with us today. Now, if you liked what you've seen today and you think you can do this, if you think you can do it better, do it. You need to reach out to Dakota Media Access. They're going to help you get started. They're going to show you the ropes. Podcasting, if you want to do podcast, same thing. Reach out to them. Let's build this community one show at a time and show people what we're made of. Make Bismarck, Mandan, the place to be. Again, Shelly Sayler, that's me, from Nodakian Studios here at Dakota Media Access today. And thank you, crew, staff, everyone for being here. Join us again. Bye.